All right, welcome. Peace, power, and love, as always, and greeting. Um, Decided to drop on in here and bring another quick one. The big picture, always just trying to get you to look at the broad perspective of everything and not just certain things that are happening. Um, Want to thank my subscribers as usual, and as always, without y'all, I really probably wouldn't be doing this. I'd have stayed on my other platform. I do appreciate you all taking the time out to just listen, and always feel free to comment, uh, tell a friend, share it. You know, I think it's time that we definitely start getting on code with certain ways that we move and certain things that need to be done. Um, we definitely have to start staying on code and moving um, correct in order to make things better. And there's always room for betterment. And in our case, there is a lot of room for betterment. Let me take the time out to also welcome my activatemedia.org family. Patrick Wilson, shout out for bringing me on. As always, appreciate the ears that I, get to touch in Boston, Mass as well. Feel like a part of that family too. And and I do, like I say, appreciate that. I'm greatly humbled by it, honestly. Um, really wanted to talk about what we don't have, things that we need to obtain. We really don't have, I'm not going to say nothing. And well, I take that back. When I say nothing, it doesn't mean we don't have anything. When I say nothing, I mean the things that we don't have collectively. And there's so many things that we should have collectively. You know, right now we're being distracted and on every, even now your main NBC, ABC, and CBS I see now, and Fox as well, have started talking about the Diddy things. And I've said this once before on this platform, and I say it all the time because I really don't concern myself with that Hollywood mess, because that's all it is. And then they use that mess to distract us because they know that unfortunately we will delve right into it. I'm really worried about our condition and the need to change it. Honestly, we are the biggest economic force in this country. We just don't think in terms of that. And our economic power is really our freedom, or at least a glimpse of what our freedom could be. take the time to just think back to when um, our, the Tulsa, the Slocums, the Alaines, the Rosewoods were in existence, and functioning and uh, thriving, and especially Tulsa, Tulsa being the one that was making the biggest economic footprint, and also from what I read about the Tulsa, the Greenwood area, that overseas banks were ready now to do business with establishments within the Greenwood districts. So that was big. That was going to make them a real economic force. And these are things, and this is why I say, yes, we're old reparations, but honestly, y'all, let's just be real. A lot of us get so caught up in this, just positive, 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 positive. Look, everything ain't always positive, and I don't care if you think 1,000% positive, 1,000% of the time something. It's never gonna be 1,000% positive. Nothing wrong with that attitude. I get it, but I'm more realistic. I'm more, I guess, just in a mode of thought of reality, and the things that we really need to, handle and deal with. And yes, those things can very well be and exist if we become a collective force and not just a uh, wandering force. Because right now, that's what we are. We're just wondering. And I'm not saying that everything that I say needs to happen, needs to happen. I'm not saying that everything I say is 100% right. I'm no professor, I'm no teacher, I'm no scholar, nothing like that. Like I've always said, I'm just a concerned brother who really loves my people. And I see us struggling in so many ways. Um, Family ain't what it used to be. Family is leaving faster and earlier, and seems like uh, more at expedited pace now. More younger people are succumbing. There are so many things that can be corrected. We can be corrected, myself included, and we all stand in need of correction. I don't care who you are, what kind of title you carry. That makes no difference to me. I'm more about right and wrong. Period. Cut and dry. It's just no ifs, ands, and buts about it. It ain't, yeah, I'm gonna do it this way sometime, this way sometime. No, you're gonna either gonna do it right all the time or you're gonna do it wrong all the time. You can't be doing right and then, oh well, I guess I see that's where the issue lies. We have to be stronger sometimes than the temptation. And yeah, it's tempting. So many things are tempting to us because of the things that we have never had. So when somebody comes to you and offers you $1 million, well, the first thing that we think of, oh, $1 million. And we just jump on it. Matter of fact, I'll use this for an example. The young man that played Michael Jackson in the movie years ago, and he could sing and dance. I can't think of his name, but anyway, he sung parts in The Lion King, and I didn't know this. I just happened to run across a video of him and his mother talking about it, and uh, he sung in the Lion King, and they offered him $2 million for his, vocal parts in the movie. And we all know how big that movie is. I mean, still today, kids watch that movie. So his mom said no to that deal, and um, said that they wanted a certain, I can't remember the percentage, but a certain percentage of the residuals, smart move, because like I say, that movie to this day is still being streamed on damn near every streaming platform. So that's the way we have to think. We have to think more and I say this a lot, in the things that we need as opposed to the things we want. And I always say that because if we take care of the things that we need, the things that we want will naturally start to happen. The peace that we want, the solitude that we want, the leaving alone that we want. But until we can come together and take care of the things that we need, the things that we want are not going to matter and will never come into existence because we're doing things out of order. And the more that we do things out of order, the more chaotic things become. And just look at society right now. And this is just not only in our community. I may be specifically talking to my people, but this is not just happening in our communities. The crime, the rapes, the murders, the burglaries. This is happening in all kind of neighborhoods, and the suburbs are not. I mean, they're not any different. I mean, here in Dallas, where I live, they try to make South Dallas seem and appear to be the bad area. If you ask someone from Dallas, where wouldn't they go? They would say South Dallas and areas in South Dallas. But hell, it seems like there's more crimes and things happening in North Dallas as opposed to. But that's perception. And then that's the way media will portray things. And this is why I say it's important for us to provide one another with the news. We can't, and like I say, all that old media mess that they push at us like P. Diddy, and honestly, all I got to say about that mess is he shouldn't have done it. That's all I got to say. We will learn that no matter how high up on the ladder you mentally think you are, you will always get your nigga wake up call when you dealing with those people. Period. You will. Candace Owens, she been popping up because she done got hers. And I say, so sorry. But that ain't got nothing to do with me, because those mindsets of people don't even think about us. We're the furthest thought from their minds. Now, yeah, they may come and jump in front of the cameras when there are big things that happen racially. Like when George Floyd happened, you had celebrities coming out of the woodworks, but the violence and police brutality is still happening. But Master done told them niggas, you better be quiet if you want to keep working here. And this is why I say we can't put our sweat and blood and tears and faith and belief into these entertainers. They ain't nothing but men and women just like us, full of faults, because they've had the money to do things that they wanted to do, whether they were good or bad. And just so happens that within those industries, Hollywood, music, doesn't matter, within those industries, when you start reaching that so-called plateau of eliteness, people start to think that their money can buy them out of whatever it is. Money can't buy you out of nothing, death included. And you reap what you sow. And we've all saw his mentality. So I say, so what? I say, he done got his son caught up in this mess. And see, this is what I'm saying. And then we look up to these type of ignorant niggas doing nigga shit. Got money that could really be nation building money, but they too busy doing nigga shit because they think that they so high up on the ladder they can't be brought down. Well, we saw so many instances where, yeah, them folk do the same thing. But them folks ain't never held themselves accountable. And see, we got a whole lot of us. And like I say, I don't care how it go. Either way, I ain't never gave a damn about Diddy, period. That's just my feelings. And I'm in that age group. Matter of fact, might be about the same age. I ain't never cared for him. Just his character, his arrogance, his cockiness, how he did people. Some things people overlook because somebody's famous. I don't overlook character flaws. I don't care who you are. You just a man like me, period. And see, we get caught up in that and then we get thrown off track. So that's why I say these types of conversations definitely need to start floating to the top. And we need to start having these conversations on how we can build. Because the time is now. We don't have to ask when. The when is right now. And we don't just owe it to ourselves. We owe it to the ones that's coming behind us. Because the less we do, the more they'll have to do. Just like every generation has been fighting this fight since the ancestors, since we got here, we've been fighting this same fight. And honestly, I know the ancestors got tired, but they kept fighting. And the older you get, you do get tired because you don't really see nothing changing. And there's got to be some kind of communication amongst us that snaps and tells us and lets us know that, hey, now is the time. And it's too many like-minded brothers and sisters out here talking that we need to be linking. It's so many ways through technology where we can be in the same room but not in the same room. Where we can be bouncing ideas, where we can be sharing the new black print and putting that black print to work, something that's going to work for us long term, something that we can have ownership of and start breaking away from this system. And it's pressure, it's constant pressure to survive. It's constant pressure to just survive, to just breathe, to just live stress-free. It's impossible in this country. Everything is too high to buy. Everything goes up except the wages. And they just bumped California fast food workers to $20 an hour. So I was listening to the news earlier, and how about the AI generation is about to kick in California, because so many of these employers are not going to be able to pay that wage and keep the business afloat. So they're going to go to the AI technology. And we're going to see a lot of that. The more that people cry and complain and demand a fair wage, as long as they keep doing that and it starts happening, watch and see if AI. I was just telling a brother the other day, my cousin, matter of fact, when we were talking, and I said, America's problem is there's no more free labor. It has to pay now for its workers. Ain't no more slavery and whooping backs until they do right. Ain't no more of that. So see, now they have to pay a wage. And they've been looking for a way to get free labor. And they think AI is the answer. And all this autonomous vehicles, autonomous taxis, autonomous diesels. And I, for one, can tell you as a 23-year truck driver, there's no way that those diesels are going to be able to facilitate a man sitting in that seat driving, because it may drive the same pathway every day, but every day that pathway is going to be different. And I know this. I used to do several runs back and forth from Arlington to Lawrence, Kansas. And, same run, same highway, but different traffic and different conditions every trip. No trip is ever the same. So some of these things that they're trying to implement are not common sense possible. And I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that I do not believe that the autonomous trucks will ever saturate the highways more than 5%. Just for safety reasons. Like I say, every day the conditions are different. And you have to know and understand some things are just not meant to be. But when you're greedy and you just want control and you just want money, when you have it all but you still want it all mentality, you don't care. You want it all. What else can you get? What else can I get? Dang, that's the last piece of pie. What else can I get? What's next? Just always looking for something to conquer, devour. And this is why I say we've got to get on that same level, but not as far as conquering and devouring anything except racism. But it's time for us to uplift one another and really get in the mindset of the things that we can do as opposed to the things we can't do. Because honestly, I'm never the kind of person that says I can't, because I ain't never ran across nothing that I couldn't do. I may have ran across some things that it took me a minute to learn, but after a few days or a few hours in some cases, I'm on it. We honestly are the original everything. Teachers, lawyers, scientists, doctors, anything you can think of. We are the original of that. And not why, but how is it do you think that we have managed to survive and persevere through all that we have been through? And I always make a point to let it be known we have a strong bloodline. We come from a resilient bloodline. We come from that bloodline that was thinking. And the reason that I know this is because we're here. We are ancestors of those resilient thinking, moving forward people. And that same drive is in us right now. So this is why I say we need to start bringing ourselves together and stop letting society keep us so distant. I mean, they have done such a good job at it that, rich Negroes don't want to mess with the poor ones. The light skins don't want to mess with the dark skins. Then it's just so many things that we, the Baptists, don't want to mess with the Pentecostals, all of that. The things that we now allow to come into play that keeps us distant, divided, separated, far apart, unable to collectively bargain and work together for the best, for the whole of the people, and not just for the betterment of certain people. See, we got to get away from that mentality of greed and selfishness. We're the most selfless people when we're not dealing with one another. We'll come to the aid of anybody except our own. Let that sink in. I've saw it on so many occasions where we'll come to the aid, run to the aid. We always praying for somebody. Who praying for us, though? Are you praying for us? Why you praying for Palestine? Because what Palestine is going through, we've been going through in this country for decades, longer than Palestine. See, these are the things that we need to pay attention to. These are the things we need to see for what they are. Like, who was it? Maya Angelou said, when somebody show you who they are, believe them. Think that's who that was that said that. When somebody show you who they are, believe them. Because the same, man that's in the White House now is the same pair of lips that said they didn't have no money. But they've been funding Ukraine ever since that war started against Russia. They've been funding Israel ever since Israel started their genocide on Palestine. So, when you talk reparations, this country is never going to hold itself accountable for what it did to us. This is the same country who now are trying to take slavery out of the books, trying to eradicate and erase slavery because now they're ashamed. But it wasn't no shame then. Like the saying goes, like the meme goes, slavery was legal, doesn't mean it was right. And they're never going to hold themselves accountable for that. and giving us anything for what they done would be admitting that they did it. So they can't do that. They can never do that because, hey, if we pay them, then that means that everything they're saying and alleging that we did, we did. So I'm going to get ready to wind this down. I just wanted to jump on here, and just kind of hopefully make you think about the things that we really truly need. And let me go on and throw this in because I ain't said it yet. The main thing we need is each other. We need each other out here right now. We can't keep waiting and hoping that, someone's going to come and save us. We have to start saving ourselves, and then maybe that help will come. Maybe that tide will turn. The tide is turning, but there's not enough of us who are willing to be vocal and speak out and do what needs to be done as far as changing the condition, because that's what needs to change. We can't continue to keep being the victim. And we have been the victim for far too long. And I'm tired of turning on the news. I'm tired of turning on the radio. Tired of picking up the newspapers or clicking on Yahoo News or whatever. And there's another black killing. There's another police beating. There's another civilian that's felt as if he had the right to accost or, terrorize one of us. And yet they talk and try to make us think that it happens to everybody else. And that it's just a figment of our imagination. So these are the things that we really need to concern ourselves about, the things that can make those types of incidents stop. The brutality, the dumbing down of our children. This is why I say the things that we need, we really don't have. Our own schools, we need to really recreate the black print and do what needs to be done for us, and stop feeling ashamed to do something that will better your child's life, better your grandchild's life. We gotta stop being scared to say what's right, period. And see, so many of us are going with the flow of society and conforming to the world instead of conforming from it. We're gonna fall right into the whirlpool and get sucked in because we don't want to hurt feelings. It's time for some feelings to be hurt. This is why this society and this system right now is trying to hide and cover up and change the severity of slavery, trying to hide their guilt, their shame. Well, I don't really think there's shame. I really don't, because they've never atoned. They've never taken accountability. So shame has nothing to do with it. They don't want people to know the truth. And so everybody knows, oh, I didn't own any slaves. That's the first thing to come out of their mouth. I didn't own any slaves. I didn't this. We all know that. But you reaping the benefits of a society built for one America to thrive. That's all. So it's time for us to build something where we can thrive. where we can be in control of. And then that gives us the ability to give our children and grandchildren something they can use, something they can pass down, something they can continue to build and grow, as opposed to having to wait and see if a government is going to do the right thing. And we all know the answer to that question. So I'm going to get off of here with that. Just concerned. I'm really concerned and about all of our welfare. But I'm really concerned about our welfare, because we are always at the bottom of every poll. I don't care which one it is. We gonna be at the bottom. Ain't nobody gonna not put us at the bottom. Every ethnicity puts us at the bottom. And anyone's welcome to correct me if I'm wrong. So this is why I say we need each other. And we all we need. We all we got. We ain't never needed nobody else. Never, ever. Because if it's one thing we gonna do is figure it out. And if it don't work, we gonna make it work. We the best at taking nothing, turning it into something. Turning it into everything. Look at all that we invented in this country. But anyway, I'm going to get off here. Appreciate y'all's time. Appreciate y'all's ears. It's all love. Like I said, appreciate my subscribers. Appreciate my Activate Media .org listeners. It's been another episode of The Big Picture, y'all. Like I always say in closing, let's plan, let's organize, let's unify, because we all have a key right here and right here. I'm out. Peace, power, and love.